Spiritual marriage. I am going to give you signs of spiritual marriage, causes of spiritual marriage, and what you can do to break that spiritual marriage. You see, this is the only video I will personally ask you to share because a lot of people have this particular problem. Now, signs of spiritual marriage. Number one, sex in dream, whereby you sleep and consistently somebody will come and be sleeping with you in the dream. Number two, marriage challenges, whereby you are going to struggle before you get married. And even if you are able to marry, and then because there are spiritual marriage against you, if it is not being addressed, it is going to lead to divorce. Number three, gathering and scattering, where you will gather, but because there is spiritual marriage, before you realize, everything will scatter. And then number four will be enslavement and being ruled over. There are two types of spiritual marriage. Those we have incurred by ourselves, and then the one from the ancestral spirits. Now, this is how spiritual marriage occurs, and I'm talking about the ancestral ones. Spiritual marriage occurs when a soul has been traded in the spiritual world by a familiar spirit to another spirit. According to Joel chapter number 3, verse number 3, the Bible said that they have traded boys for prostitute, and they have sold girls for wine that they may drink. And that is how spiritual marriage occurs. And when spiritual marriage occurs, there is an exchange to affirm their agreement to that spiritual marriage. Therefore, if you want to break that spiritual marriage, there have to be a sermon of the familiar spirits and the spirit that is also involved in that spiritual marriage in the blood of Jesus. This means spiritual marriage to the ancestral ones can only be broken by a man of God, according to Joel chapter number 3, verse number 2. So if you want to break that spiritual marriage, you need a man of God who can summon the familiar spirits and then the spirit that is involved in that spiritual marriage and rebuke the familiar spirits in the presence of the spirit that is involved in the blood of Jesus. And then when it is done, the person that is also involved in that spiritual marriage have to sow a seed to seal that broken spiritual marriage. And when it is done, there should be a remarry. That is where the mistake is. We break the spiritual marriage, but we don't do the remarry. That means it will occur again. This remarry is in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter number 11, verse number 2. And then Revelation chapter number 19, verse number 7 and 9. That is when you remarry to Jesus. And we only remarry to Jesus when we have received the righteousness of God, which comes only through our belief in Jesus. This is the process that can break absolute and a total spiritual marriage in your life. Share this video and bless everyone. Follow, you are blessed.